Hello, morning, good afternoon, good evening. Now for your next lesson would be the quadratic equation. I am Randall Riraluto and this is my presentation all about quadratic equation. Now, this part of the quadratic equation is all about solving and extracting the roots. So these are the key concepts in solving the quadratic equation in root method. So first, as the definition states that the general approach in collecting all the x squared term in one side of the equation while keeping the constant to the opposite side. After doing so, the next obvious step is to take the square root of the both sides to solve the value of x. Always attach positive over negative symbol when you get the square root of the constant. Now, here we have our example number 1. As you can see, we have x squared minus 1 equals to 24. Now, as the definition states, or our key concepts there in the first, it stated that in approaching collecting all the x term. So, we're going to have this x remain, and this negative 1, we're going to transform that 1 into the left side. Now, in transferring them to the left side, we're going to attach or going to find the opposite sign of the negative. What is our opposite sign for negative is? Right, that would be positive 1 or positive. Now, simply attach or write both sides of the equation positive 1. We have positive 1 here, and the other side, and then in the left side we have positive 1 also plus positive 1 or positive 1. Now, we're going to solve this one first. Negative plus positive, and that would be equal to, right, 0. So, in our equation, next equation, we remain with x squared, then 24 plus 1, and that would be, right, 25 here. Now, our second statement state that after doing so, the next obvious step is to take the square root of the both sides to solve the value of x. Now, it stated that we're going to write our square root. So, it cannot be that we're just going to write one square root in one side. So, we're going to do both. Then, always remember that it stated that always both sides and always attach positive over negative symbols in solving the square root constant. So, we're able to write positive over negative. Now, using your calculator, we're going to manipulate this one. So, when we say square root, it would state that a number multiplied by itself that would be able to get this number inside. So, we're going to find a number multiplied by itself to get 25. What number would that be? That number would be 5. Now, always remember it stated that we're going to attach the positive over negative in a constant, right? Another equation stated here, always attach when you get the square root of the constant. So that would be positive or x equals to positive over negative 5. Now we're going to separate the positive and negative. We get the two terms. We get x equals to 5 or x equals to negative 5. And that would be our answer for number 1. Okay, for number 2. Solve the quadratic equation below using the square root method. Now, it's just so simple. Just like same process we have for example 1. Now, we're going to solve this one first, or for number 2. Okay, the first statement, or the step 1, is that combine or write or separate the x term with the constant term. So, the x term we have here is x squared. Then, our constant term is that 9. So, how are we going to put that one? So we're going to write equal. So what is the opposite sign of negative 9? Or negative? Okay, and that is positive 9. Now, the step 2 is that, or the second step is that we're going to have the square root of this 9. So we're going to write inside the square root of x is x squared is equals to square root of 9. Again, remember the positive over negative symbol. In writing this one, now we're going to locate for a number that multiplied by itself equals to 9. That would be our value for our square root of 9. So we have x is equals to 9. What is square root of 9? Yes, it is positive over 3. So we have x is equals to 3 or x equals to negative 3. And that would be our answer. Now, for our B. Now we have another term which is y. Same process also. Next, we are going to write our step 1. For step 1, we're going to write y squared is equals to, what is the opposite sign of negative? Right, positive 36. So we're going to write this one is the other side, positive 36. Next, step 2. For step 2, we're going to square root this or both sides. So square root of y squared is equals to square root of 36. Now, remember, in square rooting, we're going to write the square root method. We're going to write positive over negative. Now, the next step would be x is equals to positive or negative. What is the number multiplied itself is equals to 36? What number is that? Okay, that would be 6. 6 times 6 is 36. That's right. And remember to write the positive and negative sign. So our answer would be x or y rather squared, or y, not y squared. It's not y. Okay, how I'm going to delete that one. Okay, just we're going to this one y is equals to, this is y. Okay, but y is equals to 6 or positive 6, or y is equals to negative 6. And that would be answer for our number 2. Next, here is the other process in solving. Now, as you can see in the equation, or example 3, we're going to solve also using the square root method. Now, in our equation, you have x or parenthesis x minus 2 parenthesis power of 2 minus 1. So first we're going to follow these steps. So how come we able to get this one? Now, the first step here after this one is we're going to write this in a factored form or in factoring first. So we have x, or we're going to separate x minus 2 and again x minus 2. Then we're going to have minus 1 is equals to 0. Next, we're going to apply the FOIL method, or mostly being called as the smiley method here. Now, first we're going to have x squared Next would be, what is the sign? Minus 2x. Then the other one would be minus 2x. And another one would be, right, plus 4. Minus 1 is equals to 0. And we get, so we have x squared minus, we're going to multiply this one, rule of the difference we're going to combine with, we have 4x, then 4 minus 1 would be positive 3 is equals to 0. Now we are able to get our standard form. This is our standard form. Now, since we're able to get this one, so we're going to continue for our next step, which is the factored left and right. So, it's just so simple for factored left and right. For this step, we're just going to separate x minus 1 is equals to 0. And the other one would be x minus 3 is equals to 0. Now, transfer the x side, or this one, we have x equals to 1 and x equals to 3. And that would be our answers. Okay. And that would be our lesson for the square root method for quadratic equations. And thank you.